All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us in today's session. We'll be unlocking retail AI's potential. So, today we'll be discussing AI and how retailers can take advantage of its opportunities. The explosion of AI has changed our world from the way we work to how we engage with our customers. The opportunities for AI are endless, but where do you start? Well, today we'll share global and local insights and the best practice to help your organization unlock your AI potential. We'll share inspiration from our global network, new ways of thinking, and some advice on how to get started. First, I'll introduce myself. I'm Rosalea Catterson. I'm the editor for Power Retail, and my guest today is Shelley Bransten. So, Shelley lives and breathes retail. She grew up in a family coffee business. From a very early age, Shelley was part of the family business in every way. She grew her career with over 15 years in senior leadership positions at Gap before joining Microsoft in 2018 to lead their global retail business. Shelley's overseen groundbreaking partnerships with leading companies across the globe, including Walgreens Boots Alliance, Kroger, H&M, Ikea, M&S, and many more. And in addition to this, Shelley currently holds board positions with the National Retail Federation and the Retail Industry Leaders Association, and was recently named one of the 10 most inspiring businesswomen in retail for 2023 by CIO Views. Shelley, there's some fantastic accolades there. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so great to be here with you, Rosalie, and the group of amazing Australians. Australia, obviously, is a country. We're going to talk about retail, but you've been such a fantastic partner to Microsoft. We just recently announced the $5 billion investment in computing capacity in Australia. And even, I think, maybe more importantly, the capabilities to seize in this era of AI. So I can't wait to help some of the retailers down under do great things with AI, and it's wonderful to be with you here today.
Awesome. Well, let's kick off. Shelley,
Yeah.
what are you seeing and hearing on the AI front right now?
I mean, where do I start? There is so much happening right now. As I look at this year, in some ways, it feels like our CEO woke up on January 1st, 2023, and said, let's do a press release every single week. But what I would say, as you mentioned, I've been working at the intersection of retail and technology my whole life. Um, it is one of the most exciting times to be at that intersection because of AI. It's here, it's real. Everyone's talking about it, and I think as in the retail context, our employees are demanding these types of experiences and tools. We recently did a work trend index to understand, how the workforce in retail would think about AI, and 70% of people would delegate as much work as possible to their AI assistant to lessen their own workload. And then, of course, on the customer side, we're seeing retailers really think about how these capabilities add new consumer experiences into, whatever their omni-channel retail strategy is.
Well, let's talk about generative AI. So tell us
Yeah.
some more about.
Yeah, well, the generative AI opportunity is, I think, what's generating no joke intended, a lot of the buzz. I mean, McKinsey recently did a study and found that generative AI will have as much as a 400 to 600 billion dollar impact in the retail and consumer goods industry. So that's a big number. And obviously, underneath that, the number one question is, okay, but where? Where are you seeing the opportunity? Where will it have the most impact for my customers, really, and my employees? And so I think that's the $1 million question. Is yes, it will have a business impact. It's not technology for technology's sake. And two, then where and how?
Well, I'm really curious about that. We have a lot of marketers in the audience.
Yeah.
So, where, for those marketers specifically, where might they gain?
Well, I will get to marketing. But I think before I go there, I would just say the lines within a retail company between the different organizations, whether it's supply chain, customer service, even some of the horizontal functions like HR and finance and legal are changing. So I'll get to marketing, but let me just unpack sort of the 4 areas where we're seeing first. I would say with generative AI, our CEO likes to say, and I agree, the sort of no regrets decision is in productivity. Everybody is going to be, including our marketers, are going to become more productive with these capabilities. The second area is around e-commerce and marketing, and I'll talk a little bit about that. The third is how stores and customer service are getting reinvented. And then the fourth, which used to be when I grew up in the retail industry, really back office supply chain. Those are the areas where we're seeing the biggest impact. Now, on the productivity side, everyone, I think if we're really honest, wants to take some of the drudgery out of work. How many of us sit in, multiple meetings where all we want to do is get out and know what are the actions, what are the next steps, what's assigned to me. And so, on that front, what I've been loving is actually just that tool that I now have, a co-pilot, where I can see when I can be in 2 meetings at once. I can see who did most of the talking. I can get all the slides, and I can also see what are the next steps that are assigned to me. So that's just like a no-brainer, whatever kind of department you're in. Now, on the marketing and e-commerce side, I think we all would agree that though e-commerce has certainly evolved, sort of the fundamental architecture of e-commerce has not really changed that much in 20 years. There's a scroll bar up top, there's the top nav, there's the left nav, and it's still largely, you put in what you're looking for and it's a lot of scrolling to get to what you want. And so I like to think about the flip with generative AI going from sort of scroll based, if you will, to goal based, where you can go in and you can say, I'm going to a wedding in Australia, in Melbourne. I want to look age appropriate. It's going to be on the grass, so I can't wear heels. And so I get to put in sort of the constraints, and then the website is going to return back to me more specifics about what I need for that event. And that is something that we're actually seeing our customers take advantage of and bring to life, because I think marketers and retail would agree that for a long time we have been data rich and insight poor, and that's starting to flip. So those are some of the examples, as I mentioned. Stores and service, seeing a lot of movement where store associates themselves are able to ask questions of data, optimize inventory. If a cash register is broken, quickly get the information they need to fix. And then, of course, supply chain. All of that is really getting embedded in these use cases within the retail industry and helping these industries really lead on behalf of their customers and their employees.
Well, do you have any real life examples you could share with us?
I have a lot of real life examples. And I think one of the things that's been so interesting for me has been the sort of the flip of the narrative. I've been at Microsoft now for 5 years, and in our executive briefing center, we usually demonstrate sort of the capabilities. What's been so interesting for me is now our retailers are coming in, they're demonstrating the capabilities to us. They're showing us how they're embracing these new technologies and building like these virtual shopping assistants and et cetera. So 3 examples, they all start with C, the 3 C's, I don't know why. But the first one is Carrefour, and I'll move us around the globe a little bit. But many will know they're one of the largest European retailers. And they've built this app called Hoopla. It's a bot that sits on top of their website, and basically customers can, most people, like if they're shopping for food, they're trying to figure out, what am I going to make for dinner tonight? Now with Hoopla, you can say, I'm making dinner for 6. I have a budget of however much your budget is. You can take a picture of what you already have in your pantry. You can say, I have one person who's coming, or for me, in my case, a child who is a very picky eater. And it actually will generate recipe ideas. It can filter through those recipe ideas, give you the budget, and then put all those items in your shopping cart. So just a much more personalized experience of getting ready for preparing a family meal. The next example is CarMax. and they are the largest secondhand car seller, e-commerce seller in the U.S. And you asked about marketing. This is an incredible story where so many people, when they're buying a used car, they have a lot of specifications in mind. I want a Toyota from 2004 with these airbags and this kind of a stereo. And so in the old world, the marketing department was creating and having to create all these templates for the different kind of ratings and reviews that consumers wanted. Now, using generative AI tools, they're able to really summarize the content that they have in their own systems, but then also the places where people are searching to buy a used car. And they're able to deliver back that very personalized content for that person buying a secondhand car. And they've done a time and motion study, and they've found that the work that they can now do in sort of these personalized returns of the content through summarization, they can do in a couple of days what would have taken them 11 years. So because people always ask me, like, well, what's the real return? Is this, is there a real ROI? So that's been incredible. And then I guess the last story I would tell is about Campari, which owns Negroni. And, recently it was Negroni Week globally. But obviously, Negroni Week in Melbourne or Sydney or San Francisco might be very different. And Campari does a lot of B2B to C marketing, and their bartenders are sort of their end audience because of that sort of moment of truth at the moment of serve. And so now with National Negroni Week, they can create very personalized campaigns to some of the specific, say, certain bars in certain cities are partnering with a nonprofit in their area, or there's different taste levels. Well, they have a co-pilot for the marketer who can create those very specific campaigns for that market. And, we've been talking about personalization for a while in this industry, but now we're actually really seeing marketers able to take advantage of these capabilities, whether it's the Campari Negroni example or CarMax.
Wow, there's so much potential and groundbreaking, exciting work being done. I mean, where do retailers start? What's your advice for retailers when it comes out to really building their AI strategy?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I would say it's interesting to me when I speak to retailers how many of them are curious about the technology or asking questions, but then have not actually gotten their hands on the capabilities themselves. So I think the first thing I would say is, it's to start and to try. I think we're all learning through this together. This is a journey. There's no master move. There's not like, oh, here are the 4 use cases I just want to go. I think we have to think about the AI strategy in stages, right? You have to embrace change. You have to chase the unknown and the agility, and probably adjust the game plan as we go. One of the things that I work with customers a lot on is specifically this question, centers around a recent Harvard Business Review article that our executive vice president of business development wrote, called "Building a Winning AI Strategy for Your Business." And there's really 5 principles that customers find really helpful. The first principle is around experimentation. As I mentioned, just get your hands on it and try it out. We're all learning through this together. The second is around productivity. You've got to deploy first in order to get the wins and convince. There's always going to be some cynics internally that you can drive productivity. So think about those processes, the workflows that are in your business that might be redundant. Like I shared, why am I sitting in a meeting where I can just get my next steps? The third principle is around transformation. How do you deliver those experiences that are better, faster, more efficient, or entirely new to your people and customers with the information that you already have? So take existing processes and transform them. And then, once you sort of clear through those 3, these last 2 are also super important. The next one is about innovation. If the other one was about, making current processes better, this one is about really doing new things. What are the new things retailers it's been an industry of dreamers since the moment I started. how do you start to get to doing those new things and doing them better and get to them faster? And then the last area, which you talked about, which is incredibly important to this industry, is responsibility. I know really important to all the customers we serve in Australia. We will never get to do those four things I just listed if we're not responsible as we go. And so we have, in order to realize AI's full potential, we need those safeguards. So those are five areas. Hopefully, it gives everybody listening some food for thought, some building blocks for their own businesses. And as I said, what's most exciting for me is seeing how the retail industry is taking these tools and making it their own and building it to their own capabilities.
Thank you so much. That's actually all the questions we have time for today, Shelley. Thanks so much for your time. Really looking forward to seeing how this Microsoft relationship pans out with the Australian government with that investment. Really exciting stuff there. And I hope everyone listening today gained some really valuable insights into the best practice to help your organization unlock your AI potential. Thank you so much, Shelley.
Thank you, Rosalie. Wonderful to be with you.